I'm in the kitchen with Terri Paige at Medical Transformation Center, and she is spilling the secrets on aging well. And it starts with your gut. Today she's showing us one of her favorite recipes. It's called Cici's Bean Soup. It is healthy, easy, and it packs in that nourishment for days. Terri, that's kind of our little theme here, is that whatever we can do to kind of keep us going for a couple of days. But I'm curious, why is the gut the secret weapon in aging well?
Well, it's a little more complicated than we want to get into today, but in a nutshell, basically, when your gut isn't healthy, that leads to all kinds of downstream effects: inflammation, skin conditions, hormone imbalance, foggy thinking, weight gain, bloating. I mean, there's so many other ramifications of poor gut health that if you can get that right, well, first of all, everything is going to improve, but obviously if everything improves, so does our aging process. So it's just really important to always pay attention to your gut microbiome, eating good, clean foods, foods that are non-GMO, organic, antibiotic, steroid, hormone-free, and really being mindful of the artificial ingredients that you're taking in. And there are so many out there, and it's convenient to just go through the fast food drive-through or to eat, and two, there's been such a misinformation campaign. All of these sugar-free foods that are technically supposed to be good for us because they are using artificial sweeteners, that's even compounding the problem. So things that really mess up your gut microbiome are going to be artificial sweeteners like NutraSweet, sucralose, aspartame, all of those ones, again, that are in some of our common foods that we think we can consume all the time because they're free, meaning they don't have any sugar, which is a travesty, in my opinion, to market it like that. But also foods that are high in artificial preservatives like BHT and BHA, foods that are, when we go on these extreme diets that are really acidic, whether that's maybe that we're just eating the standard American diet, which is really high carb, high sugar, or if we've jumped on the keto craze for a long time, because, that really can lead to an acidic environment in our gut, which has degradation effects downstream. And by keto, I don't mean just making sure you get good quality protein. What I mean by that is where it's all animal fat and animal protein to the exclusion of plants. Keto definition, that diet is 15 grams of carbs or less a day. You need about 100 to 150 grams of carbs a day for balance.
You are reframing nutrition for women, especially at this stage in our lives. That's why this recipe is so important, because it packs in so many nutrients and it allows women to kind of prepare something ahead of time and to eat on this for days. What's in this one? I can't wait to get to it.
So this one, actually, I kind of inherited from my grandmother, who was just she was the master of improvisation in the kitchen, which that's something that I like to do too. If you give me a recipe, I'm going to look at it for a minute and go, ooh, do I have to follow this? And I'm going to start to create something around it. But really, I learned that early on. If you have good, stable ingredients, good quality ingredients, you can really create all kinds of things. And so this one really does work on a good protein-plant balance.
Okay.
So this one has, and I love going to Whole Foods, to their butcher counter. They do a really nice Italian sausage there, a bulk Italian sausage. So this starts with that.
Okay.
Bulk Italian sausage, and what I love about it, it's already seasoned. So I don't have to worry about seasoning the meat and getting it just right. It's already seasoned. And
it's already ground up too.
Yeah, it's ground up.
There's no work involved.
I've browned it.
Yeah.
I've browned it. I've drained the extra grease out of it,
Okay.
just because it sometimes can get too greasy. But then it also incorporates more protein with these Cici beans. So, there's another plant-based protein that's a good source of fiber, protein. And then we go into onions, which are really good for your gut, really good for your hormone balance too. We have some onions in there. We have frozen kale, which is the cheater way, but I always buy organic frozen vegetables when I don't have fresh, because it's a great way just to have something in the freezer to add the nourishment in. And then really actually rounding it out with the healthier version of the vegetable juice, which adds a really nice flavor and tang to it, and then some just vegetable broth. So we'll get into it. And the only other seasoning I actually add into it is garlic powder and the rind of some cheese, which just gives a fullness and a richness to the soup.
I love that every ingredient has a purpose and how it is kind of refreshing our gut, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right? From kale to the protein, to the onion, to the beans, to the vegetable juice, to the broth. Everything has a function to help us feel better and in turn age better.
Yeah. And it tastes great too. And to your point earlier, you can make this and then eat on it during the week. If you're not going to eat it all for dinner that night, or if you just want something to take for lunch during the week in a little glass container, and then you can warm it up when you get to work. So it makes for a really nice portability. It's efficient, and I like that. Having had so many kids for so many years, I'm always looking for ways that I can be efficient with my effort. And this is one of those ways. And now, like we've talked about kind of offline a little bit, as your kids are starting to get older, and maybe some of them have been home during the summer, but they're going back to school, whether it's to school here in town or maybe they're going back to colleges, which makes you kind of cry when they peel off. But two, just adjusting how you cook. And so especially if the numbers that you're cooking for at home decrease, this is a nice way, because I think too, as women, we tend to go, oh, nobody's home tonight for dinner, I'm just going to eat peanut butter, or I'm just going to eat something. This is a way to take care of ourselves too, even if we're not cooking for somebody else, but in an efficient, easy way.
Right. And so many women neglect their health at this point in their lives. Why does this happen specifically at this point in kind of the family dynamic?
Well, I think we're just so used to taking care of others. Again, it's to that back seat. Oh, well, I've taken care of everybody else. Now those duties are done. And I'm guilty of it too. I just think, I don't feel like cooking tonight. I am going to eat peanut butter. That's why I say it with such, with clarity, because that's my mindset.
It's so easy for women to fall into that trap.
It really is. It really is. But then I'll realize, especially the next morning when I wake up, I'm thinking, oh gosh, I don't have any energy, or how am I going to get through this workout in the morning? And then I realize, well, it's because you didn't eat any dinner.
Yeah. I'm hungry.
I know.
Since you're cooking for me today, let's go.
I need some nutrition.
Nutrition.
Yeah, so, I'm just I've already browned the meat. So really, at this point, it's just about putting in the other ingredients and then letting it bubble.
Tell me more about the onions and why that's good for us.
So it's just, those are those vegetables that, like onions, garlic, cruciferous vegetables. They have Brussels sprouts, broccoli, things like that. They just really help to nourish the gut. It's good prebiotics. So prebiotics, we're used to taking probiotics, right? When we purchase them, and those are great too, to have that diversity. But really, if you can, always, and this is the crux of what we do here at Medical Transformation Center, you always want to prompt your body to do what it knows how to do by giving it the right tools. So if you put prebiotics into your gut, then, because your body is so smart, it's just that sometimes we neglect it, then your body knows, oh, okay, I'm going to take this prebiotic fiber and I am going to make the things that are needed today to keep me in balance. So that's really why it's kind of going backwards, as opposed to just putting something in at a step in the chain down here, going backwards to the precursors and going, what does my body need to do its job?
Right.
So that's really what we're always trying to do. So honestly, Claudia, at this point, it's really just, I have in the recipe that we're going to share with folks, using a bag of frozen pearl onions, which that just takes the ease factor up even more, that you don't have to cut the onions. But I couldn't find any at the store the other day, so here we are.
Well,
we
you're
cut the
giving
onion.
us the shortcuts and the alternatives. Like, what would be some substitutes that you recommend that people could put into this? Because I'm a big believer of, I look in the pantry and go, what do I have today to make this? And how can I get close to this recipe as possible and it be as nutritious as it possibly can be?
Well, you could use a different type of sausage. Back to the counter, the butcher counter at Whole Foods. I love going there and also getting their sage breakfast sausage, not just for breakfast, but I actually do, and it counts, okay? It's a complete meal in my opinion. A lot of times, again, if it's been a busy day and I just want good nourishment and nutrition, I'll use that sage breakfast sausage, do the same thing, brown it in the skillet, and then I always have collard greens, fresh collard greens. We love those. So I slice those in ribbons and then just make sure it's nice and clean, and then I'll dump that in, and I leave the oil in that because the collard greens need that to cook.
Right.
I leave the oil in that and just cover my pot, whether it's this one or a big. I have a ton of cast iron skillets. And it's delicious. It's savory, it's delicious. I think that's one of the nicest things about these good quality sausages is they're a nice cheat, for lack of a better word, but they just give you a leg up because they're already seasoned.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about it.
And you want that. You want a little kick in the sausage.
Yeah.
What is actually going on in our bodies right now that makes women so vulnerable to bad nourishment, extra stress? What is going on in our bodies right now that makes us so vulnerable?
Is that a trick question? That's a trick question.
I'm curious.
Well,
it's like, why is the universe working against me? A friend of mine said this: my body has turned against me right now in my life.
Yeah.
And you're giving us the tools to help turn the whole situation back around, to put us back in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
But we're vulnerable right now. That's the truth.
We really are. Time.
Yeah.
We're not ever going to stop time. We're just going to manage it the very best that we can. And as time goes on, obviously, our bodies change, our functions change, our hormones change. I mean, as women, our hormones have done amazing things over the years. But now, just like when we go through adolescence and our hormones start to gear up and we get all of those feelings and those emotions and all those things that have happened when we were adolescents. You remember those?
Yeah.
Those feelings?
Yeah.
And then we get into an area of our childbearing years and we're more stable, and maybe we have pregnancies, maybe we don't, but we just have this period of time in our life where we have stable hormone levels, relatively speaking. And then we start to decline again. It's just that natural aging process, but there are a number of things that we can do to support ourselves. I'm a big believer in using every tool that we can, and we've talked about this before, because I still have a lot of things to do, as I know you do as well. So
You've got 3 cans. What are the substitutes for these beans? These are garbanzo beans.
these are garbanzo beans.
If you don't have garbanzo beans, you can use...
Well, you can use no beans. Some members in my family, I will tell you that when I make this at home, sometimes I actually keep the beans either separate, because some people sometimes say, oh, I don't really want the beans tonight. Or I'll actually, when I get to a point where I put all the seasoning in, then I will bubble that and cook that for a while and then separate some off and then put the beans in. But you could also use, cannelloni beans, those little white Italian beans.
Any version of a white bean might substitute
Any
for a
version of a
garbanzo
white
bean.
bean. I mean, I guess theoretically you could use a red bean if you wanted to. I mean, my grandmother was from Italy, so Cici beans are the appropriate bean. They are
Why do you call them Cici beans, not garbanzo beans? Is there a difference?
No.
No. Is that a nickname for the bean? Cici
No,
beans?
I mean, it says it right here. Doesn't it say it somewhere right there? No. You'll see them both places. I don't, Claudia.
Cici beans,
Cici beans
are garbanzo beans.
Cici beans are garbanzo
That's what
beans.
Terri
okay?
calls them.
That's
Cici
what
beans.
you actually in some cans you'll see that.
You're going to kick me out of your kitchen and never
I
invite
am
me back.
totally kicking you out
These
of
questions
here.
about the beans.
I am totally kicking you
Oh,
out.
it looks good. Do you put the whole with
I did.
the vegetable the vegetable juice?
Yeah.
You put the whole
And the
thing
reason
in.
I like that is because, again, it gives it a tang, a tanginess. It's got the tomato and all the different vegetables in there. Again, just more food value.
Right.
You're getting more food value, the nutrients, the vitamins, the minerals. And
Super
then
simple recipe. This is good.
it's so good. This is so good. And then,
Kale.
again.
And if you want, you can do
You can
real.
do fresh.
Yeah.
You,
Do real.
This is real. This is real. It just makes
Whole
it convenient.
package. Dump it all in there.
So many of these things you can just have in your pantry or in your freezer, so that really all you need to buy is the meat.
The meat.
And
That's
you
it.
could even have that in your freezer. So this can be one of those meals that you just have in your arsenal as, okay, I really don't feel like cooking, or I'm going to have a bunch of kids over. Maybe your kids are bringing over their friends and they're all going to want to eat, and this always satisfies. It always satisfies. It's got that nice blend of fat and salt and tang to it that we all like.
A little bit of kick in there, too.
Yeah, it does. It does. So I'm going to go ahead and put the beans in, the garbanzo beans now. And I do put 3. You can adjust this to your liking. If you're not a big fan of garbanzo beans, you don't even have to put them in. If you would like less, you could put less in. This is a good amount for this. I mean, it really makes it part of the bulk of the soup.
And like we said, if you can't find the garbanzo beans or the Cici beans, the easiest substitute for a bean on gut health would be
Cannelloni beans, the white beans. Yeah.
White beans.
Yeah, and then let's see, we're also going to put a little bit of garlic powder in. So a couple of teaspoons. I just like that extra kick. I know the sausage, we get some anyway, but when you add liquids and things like that don't have any seasoning.
You notice too, you're staying away from like excessive sodium, and this is one of those that you can kind of spice it up as you go throughout the week.
Yeah, it makes a really nice. You could do this in the morning, even if you wanted to, before you left for work.
Like overall, I mean, we're doing this as the TV soup.
Yeah.
This is TV soup. But if this were not being made for television, like honestly, how long would this take and how far in advance can you make this soup?
Well, you can make it in advance as soon as you want. I mean, you could do it and say, I'm going to eat this tomorrow or I'm going to eat on it over the week. But I will tell you, so here's my litmus test. I have a number of recipes that when I come home from our office, I go home, I start it. I like things that I can put in one pot or I can stick in the oven. I start it, get it going. As you can see, we've got this all going now. I put the cover on it, I go upstairs and I put on my pajamas because that is the best thing in the world to me after I come home from the office is going home and putting on my cozy PJs. Come back downstairs, give it some stirs, maybe make a nice salad, and we'll talk about some sides that would go nicely with this, and then we're done. So we do some classes here at Medical Transformation Center on cooking and nourishing yourself in a paleo-Mediterranean way, and we've done one called One Pot Wonders, where we've actually made 3 different one-pot meals during that class, and we ate on all 3 of them, but really it was to illustrate you can do this and it'd be doable and a complete meal, and most everybody's going to be happy.
Right. You're talking to women right now when you talk about a one-pot wonder, because we are all about simplicity right now in our lives and doing something easy, but just getting all those nutrients like in one pot is the key.
Yes, and that really is, because again, it's efficiency.
Easy breezy.
Yeah. And as I get older, that's really something that I value more and more is how can I be most efficient? Other things that you could do are just roasting chicken breasts early in the week and using them in multiple different meals. Or to take that even one level up, buying a really good rotisserie, organic, clean chicken from the grocery store and using that in a chicken salad or in maybe a brown rice pasta that you're going to make, or a fried rice or something like that. Sometimes when you're making it paleo fried rice, you could use cauliflower rice on that. So a lot of different choices to pull in simple, quick ingredients, but that still, like you said, nourish your gut, nourish your body, help you feel like you've taken good care of yourself.
Right, and you're going to feel better in the long run too. So once everything is in the pot, do you need to bring this to a boil, or how do you know, okay,
so normally what I would do is I would bring this to a boil, and it's getting ready to simmer right now.
Okay.
The one ingredient that is still on the list is the Parmesan rind, which I'm going to read.
Why the Parmesan rind?
So,
and not just Parmesan, like putting cheese directly into it.
Well, you wouldn't want to put cheese directly into it while it's cooking because the cheese will burn on the bottom, and I have found that out the hard way. You don't ever want to put cheese directly into a pasta sauce or anything until you're ready to close to serve it, because it will settle to the bottom and it'll burn. Terrible thing to find that out after you've simmered your sauce all day. Yes, all that. Well, and then you don't get to eat it, which is awful.
It tastes terrible.
It tastes burnt. So with the Parmesan rind, it's just, and people save these. You can save the ones that you buy at the store, but actually,
I love that. Use every piece of the
Whole
groceries
Foods sells
that you're
these.
buying.
They sell these because they're wonderful. They add a richness and a fullness. I can't really describe, but it's like a salty,
little bit of a bite.
Yeah,
A little bite afterwards.
it's just so nice to add it. It's a fullness to a sauce. I
Okay.
use it in stews. I'll use it in this soup.
Is that one of your grandma's secrets?
It is.
Ah,
It is. She was
have
so
an Italian
smart.
grandmother.
She was so
Wow.
smart. She was great.
Didn't you love being in the kitchen with her?
I did, and I would just sit and watch her, and then later on in life, I realized, okay, I need to write some of this stuff
Yes.
down. She made some amazing Italian cookies that finally one day I did sit and write down, and thankfully I've adapted that recipe
To a healthy recipe, right?
to a paleo recipe.
Of course
I
you
did.
did.
Oh, well, biscotti, her biscotti.
Yeah.
Oh, I adapted that. I have a
Love
paleo
it.
biscotti recipe. I'll share it with
Love
you.
it.
I'll share it with you. It's fabulous.
There's a healthy way to make everything.
So I'm not going to put this in right now,
Okay.
but we
Wait till
will
we're
do
done.
that here in just a little bit. I'm
Okay.
going to let this simmer. We've got it on high. I'm going to bring it to a nice boil, and then I'm going to turn it down probably to about half and cover it and just let it go, because all I'm really trying to do is cook the onion, because that was raw, and blend the flavors. That's really all I'm doing at this point, because we've already cooked the meat. So that's how
we go.
easy it is. Normally what I'll do when I make this, if we're eating it for dinner, is I'll make a green salad. And I've
I was
just
going to
put
say,
some,
what are your healthy sides to go with this?
I'd make a green salad normally, and I've brought some spring mix. I kind of prefer just chopped up romaine usually,
Oh,
but
nice. What do you
the
have
spring
here?
mix is so
Oh,
convenient.
this is great. We've got a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
in here.
just the organic spring mix,
Okay.
again, nourishes your gut,
Olive
gets you
oil,
on that
balsamic.
alkaline side. I dress it usually with a little olive oil, and I love balsamic, the thicker, big balsamic, different ones like that, but just a little, and some salt and pepper. And that's a great salad to toss up and do.
Hey, we're boiling.
It's boiling
We
now,
are
and I'm going
boiling.
to turn it down to about half. I give it a little stir too, just to make sure nothing's sticking on the bottom, because again, that's awful if something sticks
You know,
on the
this
bottom.
recipe has me thinking. There are probably so many recipes that if people think back to, I remember my grandmother or my mother making this soup or that soup, that really honestly, if you look back at those soup recipes, they probably have the core foundation of some good gut health ingredients. in it
really
that you
probably
can
do.
adjust to just about anything.
I know.
And nothing is easier than a soup.
Truly. And even in the summertime, we make some lovely soups. This one tends to be more one that we'll make into the fall and the winter and through the spring. But, you know, it's just such a good foundational one. I think, too, to your point about remembering what we used to eat and what our mothers and our grandmothers used to make, even if, like I was talking about earlier, the biscotti recipe, thinking about, well, maybe that wasn't the most healthy thing at the time, but how could I retrofit that
Right.
to be in alignment with more of that Paleo-Mediterranean way of eating? One thing that Carl's dad used to make a lot, and he used to roll his eyes and talk about it, but but I have adapted it, and I think it's delicious. So his dad's recipe used regular pasta, like old folk breakfast sausage, some type of breakfast sausage, Velveeta, like
God.
the box
We're at
cheese.
Bob Evans right now. What's
and,
happening?
Yeah, and
What's going
some
on?
onion and some garlic, and he would mix that up, and that would be an inexpensive way
Yeah.
to feed the family. And I used to love it because we grew up together, so I actually had that, and I thought, okay, what could I do today to make that a little healthier? So what I've done to adapt that is I'll use that jovial brown rice pasta.
Yep.
That's organic, just organic
I had the
brown
chickpea
rice.
pasta too.
Right, you
Yep.
could use chickpea pasta. With gluten-free pastas, you do want to be mindful not to choose the ones that are primarily made with corn, corn flour, and potato starch. Those are just going to spike your blood sugar and make you feel crummy. The one that I prefer typically is going to be like that brown rice or that chickpea, because it more anchors your blood sugar. It takes you longer to digest that, so it doesn't spike your blood sugar, which we don't want to do that. So I use that, usually the fusilli, the wiggly
Love those.
one. Yeah, the wiggly one. I use the Whole Foods sage sausage that they do at the butcher counter, so it's like a nice clean sausage without all the nitrites and nitrates in it. And then I use, he had tomatoes in it too, like a can of tomatoes. I'll use a nice can of fire roasted tomatoes, a big can of that, and then I put a whole log of goat cheese in there. Oh my gosh, it's so
Yeah.
delicious. And again, because the sausage gives you a lot of flavor, and then you put that goat cheese in it, it's
Yeah.
delicious. You could put some garlic powder, you could put some salt and pepper if you needed it, but again, that's a quick, easy meal. So with this one though, the green salad, If you want some crusty bread, that can work. Again, this is going to be one of those that I'm going to say it will be a good choice if you want a gluten-free bread. It is made with some rice flour and things like that, so it will spike your blood sugar and white rice flour. But sometimes you just want a piece of crusty bread.
Yeah, and
so you just choose
a bad day like bread.
Right, and so you may not. It might not be perfect.
Yeah.
But what is?
Right.
It's better
what
than.
I think is what is a better start to your week is making sure you're getting proper nourishment throughout the week and not waiting to the end of the day and thinking, where's that bag of chips? Where's that jar of peanut butter? Right? Like then we feel crummy, and then I feel like bad nutrition not only affects our gut, but do you see a direct correlation in how we feel in our minds?
Oh, for sure.
Tired, foggy, irritable. It affects us that way too.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you do want to make sure, just a lot of times people will ask me, macros, what do I do? And I try not to get too far down in the weeds with that, because sometimes when you micromanage anything, it can make you nuts. But I will tell people in general, and this is a common misconception, people think, oh, kids need protein. As you get older, you don't necessarily need it. That's
you
not
need more
true.
now.
We
More
need
protein
more
than ever.
because we're, again, working against time to maintain bone density, muscle density, brain tissue, so many different organ function. So a good rule of thumb is going to always shoot for at least 100 grams of protein a day. That's a good rule of thumb. Really, it's like 0.5 to 1.0 grams per pound of ideal body weight. Variation being on, was it a heavy workout day or not? But if you just try to shoot, and you'll be surprised, a lot of folks, even like big guys, sometimes they'll say, I'm not sure if I'm doing it. I'll say, track it. And they'll come back and maybe they've only eaten like 30 or 50 grams of protein a day.
You'd be surprised how much you could skip on vital nutrients throughout the day.
Right, because normally people, and we were conditioned with this with the food pyramid, because most of us grew up. If you're in a certain generation, I think Gen X and baby boomers, we grew up with the food pyramid. The food pyramid came out in 1980, and it said eat this many carbs and eat this much fat. Don't eat fat. Fat makes you fat. That was the conventional wisdom back then.
Don't want to be fat.
And we know that
that's
wrong.
Fear of fat.
But we
This is so much bad information.
We just grew up on pretzels, cereal, oats. And while there might not be anything wrong with some grains, obviously, we do need some of that to nourish our gut gut, like I was talking about earlier. That's really good prebiotic fiber. It can be. You want to limit that.
Yeah.
Very little grain in a Paleo-Mediterranean diet.
One of your favorite events is coming up.
It is.
What is the Age Smart Fest?
Oh my goodness.
And why should women come out September the 9th?
Age Smart Fest. Well, first of all, who doesn't want to age smart?
All of us do. Everybody.
I know. Well, it is September 9th from 5:30 to 7:30 here at our center.
Do we get to come in your kitchen?
We do. Now we won't be cooking that night. We'll
Okay.
have this spread with some really yummy Paleo-Mediterranean foods for people to enjoy.
It's super worth
So
it.
we will have that spread out. But we started this 3 years ago. So this is our third annual Age Smart Fest, and each year it has grown. Our goal was to provide resources to our ecosystem and then out and beyond on ways to, and let me preface this with, from the minute we're born, we're aging. So really the information that we share is relevant for the whole family. So yes, there might be some things there that night about saggy skin and saggy booties, but there's also going to be information on how to nourish our bodies, which is relevant, again, from the minute you come out of the womb, right?
Right.
We want to nourish our kids, this next generation of people. These are our next leaders. We want them to have the best leg up instead of being filled with artificial dyes and colors and all those things. So what we've done is first year we just reached out to people and said, hey, do you want to be part of this? And then actually, thankfully, last year and this year, we've even had people reach out to us and say, hey, I heard about this last year, or I saw something on social or on your website. I want to be part of that too. But what we've done is we've brought in different partners that align with our philosophy here at the center on how to have your very best health. So we'll have one that's fun. And there's a kind of a trend too on limiting alcohol, non-alc, that trend. We're having Elixir Kombucha here again, which
Love
another
them.
local company
Love them.
born out of a gut health issue from one of the co-founders.
They mix great mocktails.
Yes, they're going to bring mocktails too.
Love it.
So we're going to do shrubs and kombucha. So we're going to have that available to all our guests. And this is a free event. So there are no charges for anything. We just invite folks out. We'll have 1077 here. MJ is going to be providing the jams. We will have a podiatrist talking about good foot health, because that's really important, especially as we age. We're going to have somebody doing dry needling, a physical therapist here doing that. We'll have someone doing food prep, because a lot of times people say, this is all fine and good talking about recipes, but I don't cook. How am I going to support myself in living a healthy lifestyle? What resources do you have? And there are a number of folks in the community that will provide pre-made foods, and so we're just mindful.
Healthy food preps are out there in the community.
Yes, healthy food sourcing that you can pick up 1, 2, 3 meals for the week, whatever you need. So we'll have one of those representatives here that week, that day. Let's see what else. We'll have some fun stuff. I always love. The reality of it is too, we need our beauty and our fix-up. So one of the fun things that we have, clearly I like to have my nails done. So as clean as you can get, toxin-free nails. So we'll have Paint Nail Bar out here. They are a low toxin studio, and they'll be doing nail art and sharing about what they do there at Paint. So we're excited. There are some other folks. We'll have someone doing yoga. We'll have someone doing more strength training, focusing on that. Oh, we'll have Edible Gardens here again this year, and she's very focused on growing sustainable, organic, non-GMO in an easy way. She's helped me in the last year actually do that by doing raised gardens, raised beds. So
it all matters.
Right?
I think
matters.
When we think of aging, I think we immediately think of our face, right? Our weight. We think of the exterior things, but what matters is what you're putting inside your body. That can truly help you age well.
Yeah. Well, beauty starts from the inside out.
Yeah.
And we can, what is that saying? You can put lipstick on a pig?
Right.
It's a terrible thing to say, but it's true.
It's the truth.
You can do all kinds of things exteriorly, from on the exterior, but, and maybe you'll look good, but really I think all of us want to feel our best.
Right.
We want to think clearly. We want to have the energy and the stamina to do what we want to do. We want to have that strength. And as we age well.
Yeah, we want to. We want to be around for our kids and our grandkids. So if someone wants to take a big first step today to manage their gut health, to manage aging well, what do you recommend they do? First step is the hardest.
First step is
not
the
one
hardest.
day, but day one.
Day one is, given the parameters that we've talked about today, just some of the things that aren't healthy for us, find one thing that you can remove. And then the next thing is find one thing that you can add. So one thing, a lot of times for folks that come to see us, it might just be soft drinks. I drive through and I get the big chug and I drink on it all day, things like that. Pull that out and drink sparkling water. Put some flavoring in it. Do something to shift that. And then start from there. Because don't you notice for yourself too, once we start to do one thing just incrementally, as we start to feel better, it encourages to do the next thing.
Well, it doesn't feel so overwhelming.
Right. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Right.
Look at this. This is bubbling.
It's bubbling.
Oh, this is great. What I'm going to do.
Put in the cheese.
Put the cheese in.
Get the cheese
and then,
in.
honestly, what I would do as well is I do serve that with a little Pecorino Romano cheese as well.
On top?
When somebody wants to, when we serve it. So I have put that little cheese rind in, and it's going to go in there and just flavor this puppy
all
up.
that good flavor to the top. There you go. This is going to be how many servings you think?
Oh, well, that's a great question. Let's see.
I mean, if I'm not cooking for the
12?
week. 12 servings.
Yeah, 12 individual
right?
servings
They can
at
get
least.
through lunch and dinner for a couple of days at least.
Yeah.
At least.
Because it had 2 pounds
Yeah.
of sausage in it, which a quarter of a pound is usually a serving if you were going to eat
We're not doing math
something.
on this one.
Right,
Okay.
a quarter pound if you wanted to do that. But then, you know,
Yeah.
we also have the Cici beans and so forth in there, so at least 12 servings.
All that protein.
Yeah.
All that protein. All right, Terri, thanks for having me in your kitchen.
Oh,
Once again, all these recipes. I'm going to be going through like my mom's German recipes now and thinking, what can I take and flip it and make it healthy?
Well, sauerkraut.
Right? Yes,
Sauerkraut
so
is
good for your
so
gut.
healthy for your gut.
Yeah.
Sauerkraut, kimchi, all those good. Just think good prebiotics in there, plants.
You need a probiotic and you need a prebiotic.
And those are your precursors. So the more good quality veggies that you can eat, that just really just improves your gut health so much, and it allows you to make what you need.
Right?
Which
That
is
could be the
always important.
Oktoberfest episode.
Ooh,
Right?
oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. All right. We're going to have the entire Cici Bean Soup recipe over in the show notes, as well as ways to get in touch with Terri and the whole team here at Medical Transformation Center. So enjoy. Your gut is going to thank you later.
Absolutely.